Who are you? Flanagus. Commander. Greek Hoplites. Legion of Darien. Flanagus. These people are under my protection.
You're supposed to be at Corinth with the other Greek mercenaries. Now stand aside.
I will not allow you to kill these people.
Javelins!
Stand down!
Ready!
Xena, hello.
Flanagus, thanks.
Attack!
What's really great about all those episodes, though, is that we were able to rewrite history and actually tell it the way it really was.
Right.
And so I felt that that was important, you know, not only as entertainment, but also as education on part of the Xena episodes, that we were able to do that over the course of several seasons.
We're all about truth,
Correct.
really, in the Xena camp. That's what it was all about.
Pompey's being cautious. He knows my men are superior, so he's content to let a siege happen.
Particularly Rob and Steve Sears were obsessed with Caesar. They they couldn't get enough of that.
Yep.
One of the things that I really liked about the fourth season was that we had a chance to play with the Caesar thread. We'd started the Caesar thread when we did Destiny. We introduced Caesar as being a past lover and a betrayer of Xena's. The history of Caesar is absolutely fascinating, and both myself, Rob Tappert, and R.J. Stewart just ate that stuff up. When we get into A Good Day, we're continuing now the triumvirate. Anybody who's studied Caesar and was watching Xena at the same time probably realized it was an exterior thread that we were following. At this point, when we pick up the Caesar story, this is when Pompey and Caesar are now in open warfare against each other. This is the Civil War of Rome.
You know, we were just saying, okay, you know, we'll do Caesar, because, I mean, he dresses pretty much the same as the people in our stuff. And then, you know, Steve Sears, who was, you know, someone with a legitimate historical interest, said, well, you know, there's actually a discrepancy. And we went, huh, do we care? No, we don't care at all.
Caesar doesn't make mistakes. There must be a reason.
You know, it was all about what was a good story.
Correct. And how we could make Xena rewrite history, because that was fun and funny.
Yeah, that's right.
Even if it isn't funny, it's still funny.
It's still funny to us. And
yeah.
Caesar was hot, so you had to do that.
Very, very hot.
Now, tell me, what have you discovered? She's here, isn't she?
I remember just reading this script, just going, you know, you read it and you close it and you go, you know, how is this ever going to be shot in 7 days? But once you get past that part of it, you know, it was dealing with, obviously, the scale of the battle, what Xena's trying to do, you know, because she's got quite a crafty little plot here.
I need to ask you to do something. You must destroy your village.
Destroy the village?
Burn it, raze it to the ground.
I think in the script it was, you know, one line, you know, the villagers burn the village to the ground. But I had built in, and a lot of it got cut. The thing I read into that is Xena just gave these people an order to, you know, burn their village. And how does she deal with that? And that was, nothing was really in the script about that. So I thought it would just be a nice image of her just standing in front of this wall of fire, just looking around. And I had all these other shots of the villagers, you know, throwing their stuff on the fire, holding each other, crying, because all of their belongings are going up in flames. And Xena's just standing there, you know, and it was kind of it was a neat moment. It's like, wow, you know, her in her mind going, man, this plan better work, because otherwise, sorry, guys.
Gabrielle, come with me.
One of the interesting dialogues between Xena and Gabrielle is where, in the middle of all this, when Xena has actually set up her trap, everything is in place, and Gabrielle is doubting whether they should do this. That particular version of the scene where they go out and they look at the campfires at night, it was a longer version in the script. And Xena says, look, you are my conscience here. I can't be everywhere on the battlefield, but you know me. you know Caesar.
I won't be here when everything breaks loose. Whatever Caesar appears to do, it's always part of a design. I'm afraid that Flanagan won't see that.
You are the best one to make a decision here because I can't trust what Caesar's going to do. He is unpredictable, and he does have a plan that I'm not aware of. So I trust you. And Gabrielle says, you know, I will make the best decision I can, but I will not lead men to their deaths. I cannot do that.
I can't give the command. I cannot lead these men to their deaths.
I'll tell Flanagan.
I think that Xena knew that the most important thing to both her and Gabrielle was to save as many lives as possible. And that while Gabrielle felt that she wasn't capable of leading or didn't want to, Xena knew that there might be a situation where it was either that or there were going to be massive amount of casualties.
There's a subtext to this that Xena was saying that your mortal soul, your moral soul as well, is much more important to you. I mean, she recognizes that. You know, Gabrielle, you are the person who has to live with this. I mean, remember how When in Rome ended. Gabrielle had to make a moral choice, and that choice led to one man's dying. Now she's being asked to do it again for many men. So Xena can't ask her to do that again. So she's leaving it up to her. You've got to discover what the greater good is. Or really, in this particular case, the lesser evil. Because nothing about this is going to be good.
It's over! The battle! It's over.
What?
Caesar's pulling back. They're retreating.
Oh, thank the gods.
Wait. It can't be. It's a trap.
So there's a nice moment when Gabrielle kind of comes to the point of realizing, okay, Xena's gone, you know, she's off with Caesar and Pompey, and she left me in charge to lead this army, and, you know, she knows that there's gonna be a lot of death involved. And Gabrielle doesn't deal too well with killing people, as we certainly found out in the episode. Once Xena kind of realizes that her plan is kind of backfiring, and she knows the situation that she put Gabrielle in, and Flanagan and all the other soldiers, she just wades into this battle. And there's that whole desperation of Renee's now stuck in this situation that she can't get out of, and Lucy's running around trying to find her. And, you know, it was just kind of a nice little intercutting between the two. You know, Gabrielle just stands there at one point and just looks around and just witnesses the whole horrors of war. Everything going on around her is everything that she despises, you know. And Xena's desperate attempt to try and get to her and save her, because it is her plan that has put them in this situation.
I certainly remember that we were taking very conscious steps to work towards her killing, and I think this was one of those steps throughout that season, certainly, because I don't think we can sort of say she never kills and then all of a sudden, you know, she's,
Right.
you know, hacking and slashing through.
Yeah, and I think that it was a nice twist where we, you know, in the situation that she's trying to defend Flanagan, who she's had a relationship with through the whole episode, and she's ready to kill, and she messes up.
My take on Gabrielle and her decision to save Flanagan. It was just a nice moment of, and I shot it slow motion, her picking up the javelin and looking, and Ren gave a nice look of, you know, okay, this is gonna be it sort of thing. And it's a great moment, so hopefully people are watching it going, oh, geez, she's actually gonna kill someone. And I think it's just one of those things where her mind was made up, she was gonna do it, but her heart wasn't. And that's why I made a pretty deliberate, I mean, it wasn't no like near miss. It was a horrible shot. It was, you know, 15 feet off to the left.
There's been a lot of discussion about whether Gabrielle actually missed with that javelin or whether she deliberately missed. You have to stop and think about it for a second. If she deliberately missed, why would she have thrown it in the first place? I mean, she wasn't throwing it to threaten the guy. She wasn't throwing it to say, ha-ha, I can throw a javelin. She was throwing it to try to kill him, to stop him from killing Flanagan. Earlier in the script, I'll refer back to the script, there was a point when Gabrielle uses her staff to actually knock down a javelin. I'd written that into the script. That shows that she's good with this. So when she picked up that javelin, there should have been no doubt in anybody's mind that she could have nailed this guy. So what happened? Why did she miss? If you talk to a lot of law enforcement professionals, people who have to carry weapons, or really the people who have to use those weapons, the first time they have an actual human being in their sights and they have to fire that weapon, there is an instinctive tendency to pull away. It's just the way we are. It's human nature. So when she brought that javelin up, and this was a case of her premeditated saying, I'm going to throw this into the heart of another human being, I don't care what he's doing, it's another human being, she involuntarily jerked, and she pulled her aim and she missed. And because of that, a completely human part of her nature, Flanagan was killed. There was an interesting thing with the character Temecula. I borrow names from various sources, and Temecula is a town in California. That's where I got that from. Temecula represented a little bit of what Gabrielle was. And I was trying to do kind of a double layering of the relationship between Xena and Gabrielle. Xena was to Gabrielle, back in the first season, what Gabrielle was to Temecula. Temecula was this young kid who was caught up in this conflict, and here was this girl, Gabrielle, who seemed to know so much and seemed to be so savvy about war. Well, it's kind of a mirror. It's not identical, but it's a little bit of a mirror of what was going on with Gabrielle when Xena came onto the scene. So I was trying to play the fact that now Gabrielle is the one with the wisdom. She's the one who can turn to a younger person, a naive person, and say, no, wisdom before weapons.
I wonder what that's like, to kill someone.
It changes everything.
This is not something you want to do. I know that you think that you have to kill somebody, but everything changes when that happens. Back when Xena told Gabrielle that, it didn't mean anything. Now it means something, because Gabrielle has had the experiences that she's had. She's seen people die, and she knows when that happens, and we are responsible for it, everything changes.
We spun the cameras on, and I think it was just them kind of feeding off each other. You'd have to ask Renee whether she went into that scene planning to cry or not, or if it just wasn't simply just the dialogue, just pulling that out of them, and Renee going over what we'd already shot and images of the battlefield.
You want to know that what you did was for all the right reasons. With that pain in your gut and the weight on your shoulders, the best you can come up with is that it was a good day of fighting.
It took everyone by surprise. Even one thing I remember really good about that was John Kevill, the DP, who shot it. I called cut. I looked over, and JC's coming up from the eyepiece, wiping a little tear. I said, JC, you getting a little misty over there? He's like, dude, that was pretty good. So that's always a good little barometer, you know, when someone like that who sees this stuff daily on a daily basis gets a little emotional. It's going to work.
It was a good day fighting.